Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Elizabeth Morris. I'm the event manager here at Cavallo. I'm super excited to welcome all of you to our SalesPad Tips and Tricks webinar, which is always a fan favorite. This is actually our very first webinar of our brand new Profit Acceleration webinar series. So there will be lots more webinars coming from us, but this is the perfect one to get us started. Before we start, I just want to cover a few little housekeeping items. Today's presentation and demo will be about 30 or so minutes. You're welcome to ask questions at any point throughout the webinar, just using that Q&A icon at the bottom of your screen. We'll do our best to answer those at the end. Today's webinar is being recorded, so if you want to revisit it or if you want to send it to a coworker who may have missed today, you'll be able to do so within 24 hours or so. We are very excited to have Michael DeFazio. He's an implementation consultant here at Cavallo. He's our presenter today. I really can't think of a better person to lead this webinar. Michael personally has worked on about 277 projects with over 200 of our Cavallo customers. So if anyone knows the ins and outs of SalesPad, it's Michael. So he's going to highlight around 30 tips and tricks or so to help all of you work more efficiently within the platform and the software. So without further ado, I'm going to turn things over to Michael so he can introduce himself and then dive right in. Michael, take it away.
Thank you, Elizabeth. I appreciate it. Hello, everyone. Welcome to our Profit Acceleration webinar series. I appreciate your time today. Some of you I know. I did look at the list beforehand. Some of you I don't, but hopefully within the next 30 minutes or so, you'll have some takeaways from this presentation and this demonstration and some new features or options to use in SalesPad on a daily basis. Just a quick introduction of myself. You can see there 8 years with Cavallo. A couple personal things about myself there. Watch enthusiast. I have a lot of watches, not super fancy ones. I'm not Mr. Big Bucks. I don't do the Rolexes or anything, but I do like watches. I like outdoor camping, outdoor gear. It's something I like to do here in the summer and fall months is just get outside and live off the land a little bit and get away from cell phone signals and laptops and everything else that we have to deal with on a regular basis. So it's kind of nice. Let me get to the agenda here. So some things I'm going to focus on today: user personalization, maximizing your user experience, some of our quick access features, customizations, better ways to maybe search for data, filter data, view data, and leveraging SalesPad Desktop's tools and features to make them work best for you based on your daily job-related activities. We all have different things that we're responsible for throughout the day. Some people can use a little help with customizing SalesPad to make it work better for them, hopefully make them a little more efficient. Some of the stuff I cover today, you maybe a few things you already know there, especially when it comes to just basics of layout and customizing your real estate on your screen. Some of that is a little more common, but I still wanted to make sure I covered it just to in case there's anyone on the call here that doesn't know. And some of it are hopefully things maybe you never seen before. And, like I said in the beginning, you take that away from today's call and actually figure out a way to utilize it. At the end, we're going to have as Elizabeth mentioned, we're going to have some Q&A time at the end. So if you got any questions, I'm happy to address them once we get to that point. I'm going to switch screens here and move over to sharing my SalesPad desktop now for everyone to see. Give me one moment. All right. You should be seeing my SalesPad desktop now. Elizabeth, you can see that, right?
I sure can, yep.
Okay. Perfect. So let me get started here with just some of the basics. And like I said, some of this you may know already, and maybe obvious. But just in general, when logged into Pad, I'm sure lots of people have, the sales monitor up, maybe sales document search up. We use inventory lookups, customer searches. Basically, this grid here throughout SalesPad appears with all our searches, whether it's customer sales documents, inventory, whatever kind of data you can think of. This grid here is the same throughout SalesPad. Again, this is probably one you already know, but I encourage everyone to customize their views here based on information that's important to them. The objective almost being that you want to minimize the amount of clicks and having to get into the information to see more. For example, if I click into the customer card here, obviously I see a lot more details here relative to the customer. But you can move and drag and drop these columns however you'd like. If you right click, you get a whole host of different options here. One of them being the column chooser. And the column chooser will show you every field relative to the business object that you're on. So in this case, we're on customer search and we get all the customer related fields there. This one, if we go over to here, sales document search, and I right click and go to column chooser. Now we have this box that popped up here and you can see all the tables relative to the sales document search. So maybe there's some things you want to always see here every time you do a lookup that's important to you, so you don't have to click in further. So like let's remove payment terms, ship method, customer PO. But yours might look different, obviously. But if we right click there and using those as an example, ship method might be something that's important. You don't want to click into it to see how this order shipped in this case. You just want to be able to see it right from this lookup screen. You add these columns here, and then they're always out there for you. You're not changing it for everyone else. You're just changing it for your own lookup here. Um, and you'll see tons of different options there. I'm going to put the PO back out there. You can place them however you want. I kind of tend to my brain works left to right. So, I start off over here and I kind of move left to right. But this grid is the same throughout any lookup in SalesPad. It's just like I said, the business object is relative to the set of fields that you get up here. And maybe currency is important. I'll drag that one out. So utilize your space here to make it work best for you. Filtering also a huge thing in SalesPad. There are a lot of different options to filter data. You can see obviously some standard searches on the above here. Pay attention to your sources. Custom search, you can get real specific, choose the field when you're doing a lookup, and then that value. Some things I like to always have out here on any of these grids, whether it's sales document, customer search, is the auto filter row. So going over to customer search here, if I right click on this header, I get this menu here and I select auto filter row, and it just added that right there. So I'm going to just do it again so you can see it. Auto filter row. Now on any of these columns, I can quickly narrow down data by simply starting to type into the field. So let's just take the state column. Maybe you're trying to narrow down all your customers in the state of Illinois. So I just type IL and you can see it just narrowed down all my active customers in the state of Illinois. You can do that under city, Grand Rapids. I just narrowed down all my customers in Grand Rapids. So I like to always have this out on all of my lookups. So here's the sales doc one. Right click again, show auto filter row, and now I've added it. And once again, that's there for me to simply type into and narrow my results. So let's do shipping method as an example. UPS, as soon as I started typing, it narrowed it down to everything with UPS in it. and you know, the more specific you get, the more it narrows your results there. So use these to your advantage when you see any of these lookups in SalesPad desktop. One other thing that some people also find useful is if I right click in here, there's also a show find panel. Not many people know about this, but it just puts a miscellaneous field up there to be able to, give me 1 second. Right there, show find panel. So you can see there's just a miscellaneous search field and just a simplified button that says find. Um, so any keyword you type in here, it'll just instantly narrow a result down for you. So if I just start typing, let's just start typing my name. So you can see right there, and it highlighted them in yellow. It found everywhere DeFazio, my last name, is appearing in that customer lookup, and just narrowed it down pretty quickly there. Um, Start typing Michael, and again, narrowed it down pretty quickly and highlighted the Michaels it's finding here. So that's another option that you might find useful that you didn't know about there. Some other options here are the exporting of data as well. So depending on whether maybe you got to email a list of customers to somebody internally, or get something out in an Excel spreadsheet because you need to work on it. Let's just narrow down my Michigan customers again. So I use that to narrow down my Michigan customer list. And then this little orange caret here in the upper left, if you click on this, you get, again, a series of options. One of them being export to Excel. So I can export this data quickly to an Excel spreadsheet. It'll pop up just like normal and ask you to name the file, save it to your desktop, and then you can quickly email it to someone or work on it outside of SalesPad if you need to. But that's available again for you in any of the SalesPad grid lookups. And you can see there's some other options too. Maybe you just want to print something. Um, you can do that as well. Another thing you can do, and this is more relevant to work style, maybe. Let's just take city here, and oop, bear with me. And I'm going to say show by group box on this one. So you can see I just narrowed down everything to a state and grouped it by state in the view here. So if we just go to Michigan and expand some of these, Minnesota, we can see all the customers now grouped by their state, and you can collapse all of them right in here. You can say group options. You can say expand all the groups. Now I just expanded them. So state, 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 and you can see all the customers that are listed under there. And if you have a certain view you like that you want to utilize, you can actually save it right there, name it, and then it's there whenever you want to apply it to use it at a different time. Um, to clear this off in this scenario, I'm just going to say ungroup and get it back to the way it was there. But lots of different options within any of these grids here in SalesPad for viewing data, sorting data, exporting data, etc. Moving along to something called direct entry. I'm not sure if anyone uses this or is aware of it, but this is another kind of quick order entry feature. A lot of you might be accustomed to going to the customer card, let's say, and starting a quote, starting an order. There's something called direct sales entry right here. You can see I'm going to click on it, and it just pops open a little window here, and it'll remember in the future going forward um, uh, what the last order doc ID was. You can set a default doc ID here, the customer. And right from having this little pop-up, and you can drag it to other monitors. Right now I can put it on my other monitors, but I can set it to my standard quote. And if I happen to know this customer offhand, so I'm going to put it in. Just having this up on another monitor at any time, I can start a quote, order, invoice by just using that little direct sales entry feature. And you can see it right there. It just opened up a new STD order, and I can just start it. Any order, quote, invoice, etc., right from using that little direct sales entry pop-up. You can see there now it remembered it. And then, like I said, there are also a few settings here to use it as set default doc IDs too, if you want to use the same one each time. Another nifty little thing is the recent sales documents feature. So I'm going to open this up here, and you can see at the bottom now, it's it's the window here is docked recent sales document. And this is a fun one because I know a lot of people uh, often have to go back and forth, go back into the sales order. They work on it in the morning, something else comes up, they move on to something else. They got to come back to that sales order, that quote, that order, that invoice, whatever the case may be. There's a lot of hopping around throughout the day. Everyone's multitasking, and has a ton to do. Um, this is a nifty little thing that it'll just keep a log, a memory of what you've done, and you can actually tailor it a little bit based on how much history you want there. So you see here, I'm going to purposely open this order at the top because I want to get some of these in here for demonstration purposes. And then I'm going to open one more, close it out. You can see here, it's building that log here, this recent sales doc log. Now this is docked here. What I like to do is undock it by just using my mouse. And then you can put this on another monitor, get it out of the way if you got multiple monitors. And you can see it's just building a list. The order, customer number, and you can say clear. You can say remember the last 10, remember the last 20, however you want in here. Put this up on another monitor and just have it over there. And if you're someone who has to hop around a lot in between the same order, the same customers, and come back, this is always up there for you, this list, and you can just click right back into it an hour from now. Or the customer, and go back to what you were doing earlier that day. And it just keeps this running tab here. And like I said, you can save as many in here as you like. Defaults to 10. That's a nice little handy thing that you can just chuck on your other monitor and leave it open over there. Little window here. So pretty nifty. There's a similar feature with customers as well. So I'm going to pull that one up here quick. Same cost concept, but instead of sales document, customers. So here's my recent customer list. You can see this handy little window again, defaults to 10, and it can see there the last couple that I've clicked on. So if I click on a completely different customer, it would add a third one to the list and a fourth, up to 10 if I have it set to 10. And maybe you deal with a lot of the same customers, repeat business, and this might help you move back and forth between what you're doing, working on something else, coming back a little faster with similar customers, similar orders, for your repeat business that continues to um, place orders with you. Might be a little handy for you to keep this up on another monitor, and you can hop back and forth more efficiently. So those are cool, a couple cool little neat ones that not everyone may know about. Another, and this one's a little more specific, but again, super handy, is we have sales line mass updates and sales document mass updates. Some people, depending on your business or what's going on, you have to make changes to more than one order and set something specific on 10 orders, 15 orders. Maybe it's after the fact. The sales document and sales line mass updates allow you to do that. So let's say you had 50 orders in a particular batch, and um, you put them in that batch because you were going to make some updates to them. So I'm just going to use the new order batch as an example here. So these are all the ones sitting in my new order batch. Let me get rid of the ready to pick one to make this a little more cleaner there. They're all sitting in this new order batch, and you can see this section here in the document properties section. All your normal fields that you're used to seeing. You can even filter this by quotes, orders, invoices, a specific warehouse. But this allows me to mass update um, orders in mass, essentially. Let's say everything in here I had to ship um, FedEx or UPS ground, maybe. There was some update that was needed. I'm going to pull the ship method out there. So right from this window, I can say ship method, and I can say, let's say they're all next day. I can say next day, and then I can say update documents right here, and it'll update all these orders in this list that I've built in this ship method here, all to next day in mass. Um, and you can do that with any one of the fields here. So that's another handy way to kind of update things in mass, should you ever need to. The same concept applies to the sales line mass update. So again, it's going to be the same window here, and except in this case, we can see instead of the order number, the line item numbers are on here as well. So maybe you're updating pricing, or you're adding a comment, or you're updating a warehouse or price level on any particular order. Let's do price level. You can select that and say update the lines, and it'll update all these line items to whatever selections you've made here in the upper section, all in mass, whether it's 10 orders, 50, 100. The other nice thing about here is you can kind of cherry pick at the bottom here with your mouse and using the control key. I could just pick the ones where I need to make an update on and only apply it to them and not the ones I haven't highlighted. The same on the customer page. So mass updates at line item levels, order levels. That's a couple of handy little features there that you may not have known about. Um, the next one I want to talk about is the fast entry shipping option. This may not apply to everyone, but it's again kind of a fun one. When it's enabled, you can see here fast ship to order enabled. Um, think about when you're creating quotes or orders or invoices, having this enabled, and you'll see it change, allows me to that when I start an order or an invoice or a quote, whatever one I have highlighted down here will be the one that's used. So you can see it says ship here. If I select north, now you can see it says north here. Um, so instead of having to go into the order and change the warehouse or the shipping address and all the information that's tied to the ship to address or the primary bill to, um, instead of having to do that down here by changing the defaults or doing it in the order itself, just based on whatever one I have highlighted here will be the one that gets used. So this one, North Warehouse, it's highlighted. Now, if I start an order, because that's the one highlighted down here, if we look at the addresses, there it is, the North Warehouse. That's the one it used because that's the one that was highlighted when I clicked it. So quick little easy called the quick little easy default address and uh, uh, to order information there by enabling the fast ship. And when it's enabled, you see it this way. So if you're doing a lot of orders with a lot of different addresses or customers with some people have customer cards, and under the customer card, they got, 30 different contacts underneath there. And depending on the quote order they're making, they have to choose a different one every time. In that scenario, this might be super helpful to just know that whatever one you have highlighted when you start the quote order invoice, that's the one it's going to use. So hopefully some people find help with that. Um, Another kind of unique little nifty thing, I honestly don't use it too often. But if you have a mouse, kind of a standard mouse, you got your right and left click, and you probably have a center click option, or maybe the roller for scrolling like I'm doing now. You can actually use that to just click on things and open windows in SalesPad, believe it or not. If you might have, you may have done it on accident and never really knew what happened. But you see I have the sales documents here, and let's close this customer card. I have the sales document tab open. If I just start clicking on things with that um, center button on my mouse, it'll just start opening tabs across the screen here, and you'll start seeing it happen. Sorry, there's a little delay there, but you can see them opening it up at the top there. 04, 03, 02. It's just opening tabs, and it will do the same thing on any screen in the SalesPad. If I do it on the customer, you can see I just clicked it, and now it just opened the customer card there too. So any active link that you have in SalesPad desktop, just by using that center, whether it's your scroll key or you actually have a physical button there. Um, I'm just going to click on a few more customers. So again, you can see them opening up here, right here, Reynolds, Fourth Coffee. All I'm doing is clicking. It's not taking you to it. It's just popping up windows as I keep doing that. So that may have been something you've done on accident before, believe it or not, because I have. So I'm just closing them out now. Um, so yeah, another unique little fun thing there. Um, the standard notes. I don't know if anyone uses this, but again, I think it's worth showing here. Um, some people have, whether it's quotes, orders, invoices, maybe you got a set of standard notes that are part of your process that you want to say have happened to confirm, user M. DeFazio did what he was supposed to when he looked at this order before he forwarded it on here. I'm sure you're all familiar with the Notes tab. You can actually create a list of standardized notes under the note shortcut maintenance here. So there's one in there that's existing. I'm just going to add another one for demonstration purposes here. Reviewed, checked order on the sales document. So you can see I have two here. So if you think about your internal processes and you have some standard checks or validations that people do, you can create standard notes here that can be applied, confirming even on the customer card, sales order card, inventory items. So I'm going to close that now. So you see those two are there. And I'm going to open up a new order for demonstration purposes to show you how that setup over there relates to um, could relate to what you would like to do on some of your orders or customers. So this is an order that's open. I'm going to go to that notes tab and I'm going to say add note. And what you're going to see to the right is there are the two that were set up. So imagine you got 10, 15 of different statuses or options or confirmations that are part of your standard process. They'd all be in this list here, and someone doesn't have to type anything and then note at that point. Um, you know, this is the one I just made in the other screen. This was one that was already there. I can just click on this and that's it. Now that note's added that I checked, in this case, I'm logged in as SA, so user SA, time span, checked the pricing and margin, and released it over to the next batch, let's say. So you can have that standardized list that you build here, And then those are all options for users to select to confirm an activity or some validations they were supposed to perform as it was moving through your workflow and your process. Just going to open another one up here quick. I'm going to do this again, add note. Here's the new one we just made. Yep, checked order, time stamped, checked it, move it along. So you can set up all of that under this note shortcut maintenance, and then they'll be available for users to just apply. They don't have to type out the same thing every time. Just to add a note, they can just select it and then move it along, confirming that they've done what they were supposed to there. Um, Another feature you may not know about is customer default items. So let's take a look at that quick. I'll explain what it is. If you have customers who buy a lot of the same items all the time from you, this might be helpful. So under the customer card, we're going to find default items. I have so much turned on. Yours may look different than mine, obviously, because I have everything turned on in my SalesPad, so there may be some differences visually here. But you can see here, under here, you can just add items. So if you got customers who buy the same items all the time from you, and you just want to have these items handy because you do a lot of orders, and they buy the same products from you. Let's say on a regular basis, we just add another item here. Okay, so now I got 3 items under this default doc items tab here. So under this customer, if I'm in a new order, new quote, new invoice, I'm going to open up a new one just to use it for demonstration purposes. Under the little actions tab, I'm actually going to put that shortcut button out here as I demo this for you. Find it in the list right there. I put that there, and that's going to create a little shortcut button. So now that's right here at the top of my order. Um, so now at any time on a new order, I can click that and it'll pop up the list of items that this customer buys from us all the time, same item numbers. So I'm just going to click that, and there's the list. I can just choose one, or I can choose all 3 and say, okay. And now it just added all 3 to the order. And if there was a quote invoice, it just added them. And I can move through this a little quicker than having to type it in or look it up. You can do that under um, any customer you want in SalesPad, and it can be specific to customers as well. So for this particular, in this case, I've just said for customer, oh, that these are the ones they buy the most from us, whether it's 3, 10, 15, 20, add them all here, and then utilize that little button plugin in the sales doc when you're in it or the invoice, and just select the ones you want. Sometimes the quantities may be different. You can change those, or you can change the price if you had to after. But these ones that you set up, um, you can set them up for different customers. You can see there's a copy too. I could copy these over to other customers, or I can go under another customer completely and set up a different set of items, because there's a different set of items that customer purchases versus this particular customer. But it can speed things along for the quote entry, order entry process, and just getting that started without having to add each item one by one. 10 line items, 5 line items, whatever the case may be. It may speed things up a little bit for you there. So again, hopefully it's something handy. Um, uh, the next thing I want to touch on is probably more of the admin side. So you may be aware of this already. I'm going to go under the security editor here. There are some options in here to mass apply changes to settings, and not everyone are aware of them. Some of you may be already. So if we're just looking at, let's look at a common one. look at sales doc entry. These are the settings under sales doc entry here. Let's say I was changing a setting for, in this particular moment, I have the admin group highlighted. There's customer service, purchasing, sales, admin. Let's say I was changing a setting, allowing people to, let's pretend this is false, allowing people to copy an order to start a new one. I flip that to true. And instead of, having to go under each one individually and actually keep changing it for every user group or every user, right here, I can right click and I can say copy to and select specific groups. Or I could just say copy to all and say yes. So now that change I made, I just said apply it to every user, or I could have selected specific ones. Either way, probably still a lot faster than going in individually and changing it and changing it and changing it. So that might speed things along for you. I know this is more on the admin side, and not everyone has access to the security permissions, but that could be helpful to some people. Another thing I wanted to talk about here quickly. I know we're closing in on time here, and I want to leave questions time for Q&A. The system log search. This is kind of again on the admin side here, but sometimes I'll use this to see people make changes, people adjust things, something changes in their process, they change their workflow, and maybe they're not sure of everything that they're doing. They do something and they didn't realize it would have another effect on something else, let's say. From the system log search, it'll just keep a log of all the major changes that were made in SalesPad and by what user, essentially. Um, so let's just say I wanted to see recent changes that people have made to the SalesPad workflow. So I'm just typing that in here. And obviously we're in my environment, so everything is gonna be me. But in yours, you may have other user IDs here. So if something's happened and maybe when you guys left for the weekend on Friday, everything was fine. You came in Monday, all of a sudden something's behaving differently, and you're wondering, did someone make a change and not tell anyone, or maybe they made a change and didn't realize it was gonna have a different effect? You can come in here, and there's a system log that's kept. Like I said, I typed in workflow. Well, you can see it's just kind of kept a history over the years, last year here, of every time I made a new workflow queue in this case, or added a rule or whatnot. And that obviously I narrowed it down to workflow there. But if I just keep it wide open, you'll see everything else: adjusted settings, deleted certain batches. If I changed any major settings, relative to payments, my Square payment token was refreshed in July, on July 9th. So it'll just keep a log. Yours might have a lot more information in here versus mine, because I'm the only user, and you have many users. Yeah, updated Square settings back in June. So I must have been messing around with Square a lot back then for whatever reason. Reset the database. The system log just keeps a log of all changes. And sometimes it's nice to go reference that, like I said, especially when something unexpected comes up, like that's a circumstance I mentioned. It was working fine yesterday, now it's not today. What the heck's going on? Maybe someone made a change. First thing I do is check in that system log to see if anything has been logged in that audit trail, so I can at least rule that out to start. Again, probably an admin level thing, but could be rather handy. There are days where something happens and no one knows why, and maybe you're calling our support team, which is great. But maybe you want to troubleshoot something a little on your own beforehand. Yeah, system log can be helpful in that scenario there. Elizabeth, how are we doing on time?
We're good, Michael. If you have a couple more you want to run through, feel free. I think we should maybe just wrap up in maybe 5 minutes or so we can get to some Q&A.
Okay, perfect. One other thing here. is layout maintenance. Let's talk about layout maintenance and what it means. Some people, depending on their specific users, user groups, they want some consistency so that when certain individuals are logged in, maybe they see the same thing as everyone else. Um, Again, this is kind of going to contradict what I started off with in here about customizing your grids and screens. Everyone is different internally here on your end, I'm sure. But there are some circumstances where maybe you want things a little more consistent between a certain group, maybe the sales reps, the customer service team, whatever the case may be. Under here, you can actually create a layout and then apply it to everyone in that particular group. So under a sales document, new, I can say that this is created by, let's put that out there, sales document from, I'm going to do just my standard order. And on that standard order, maybe there is a group that I want them to only see certain things. So you can see here, you get this long list of tabs. Think about the tabs along your customer card at the bottom or your sales document card, and that split screen there, you got all those tabs here. Let me go to it. This section here on the order level or on the customer card. Think about this all along from left to right here. Um, so I could select certain ones, the notes, address, maybe not user fields, related documents. So you select what you want there. And then once you have it the way you want it, you can actually just apply that to a specific group. Maybe it's the CRS, maybe it's the sales team, maybe it's the purchasing team. And now you've kind of created this consistency for them. So no matter who's logging in from that particular department, let's say, um, they all see the exact same options when they're in a customer, when they're in an order. They see the exact same layouts, same tabs. So again, that's relative to maybe your industry and maybe your teams internally there. Um, and I know it kind of again contradicts what I started off with. So you got one extreme or the other. Let people can customize whatever they want, their views, let them see. This in this case, it's a little more feature based. So it's a little different than just letting them customize their layouts. But if people shouldn't see or have no need to see this assemblies tab or the interactions or the resource tab, or that's where you can just do that for the customer service group or the purchasing group. Only check the ones you want, apply it to that group. And now every user in that group, when they log in, they always see the same things based on how much you've limited it or how much you've enabled it. Again, that's probably more of an admin thing, but it might be something you weren't aware of that you may want to do or do in the future. You'll be able to reference that um, and apply that as needed. Sorry, I'm just checking the time here. All right. I'm also through my tips and tricks list here. So hopefully you saw some useful things in there. You might have saw some things you already knew about. Again, I just wanted to make sure I covered everything just in case there are individuals who didn't know. I'm gonna move over to sharing the slideshow again here.
Awesome. Michael, while you're doing that, we have a question here.
Sure.
So towards the beginning of your demo, someone's wondering, how did you change the section title for open documents and other sections to be purple in the customer card?
Oh, yeah. So I'm gonna hop back here quick.
Sure.
Um,
And while Michael's doing that, I have another question around sharing the recording. So yes, the recording will be available. It'll be right on our YouTube channel. We'll also get it sent out to everyone. You can find it on our events page. So you should be able to access it, I would say, within the next 24 hours or sooner. So by the end of the day tomorrow, you'll have access to the recording.
Thank you. So I think you're probably talking about these sections here on the customer card and on the order. There's blue here, and on the customer card, there's these purple sections. Is that right, Elizabeth?
Yeah, I'm guessing that's what this person was referring to.
Okay. This is under the customized layout. Um, Again, more on the admin side, so you may not have access to it, but if it's something you guys would like to do, obviously that's up to you. I'm going to right click anywhere on here and go to customize layout. So I'm on the customer card in this case, and um, there's quite a few options here. I would be please be safe if you are going to use this, because if you move something, sometimes it'll shift the whole layout. Like I'll drag this currency off there, just for example. You can see it shifted things up. Sometimes, depending on how things are placed, though, it really discombobulates everything. But under here, essentially, you got a ton of sub options in here. So I'm going to highlight this far left box here with the customer info, and I'm going to go to layout tree. And what you're going to see is a long list of very deep customizable options, some of them relative to appearance. And if I expand this, there you go. So at some point I was messing around in here, and you can see that I have the back color white and the border color thistle. And that's where that is coming from, if that's your question. So there's the list of colors. If I were to
Wow,
change,
lots of options.
yeah. So see how I just changed it to lime green? And now we have this bright lime green box under customer info. So that's really deep into the settings. And again, depending on your comfort level, you might be fine with it. Just be cautious about what you're doing in there. Because in this scenario, you're not just affecting yourself. You're affecting all users in SalesPad. So no matter who logs in this case, they would see green and purple because that's what I made it.
It's a good call out, Michael. Thank you for that.
Sure.
Another question, are the features and tools you showed today already enabled, or are these like related to settings and permissions?
Yes, so good question. So a lot of them probably are, it's probably a combination of both. Some of the stuff that I mentioned that were more admin related are probably only enabled for admin or maybe a power user type group. A lot of them do need to be enabled though. So if we take recent sales documents and use that as an example here, this is the little option where I had this undocked window here that I could drag over to the monitor and keep a list of recent orders that I've been working on. That is, in fact, along with the customer one, along with the direct sales entry. If we go in the security editor here, those do in fact need to be turned on. So I'm just going to type recent, and you can see there's the recent customer one and recent sales document one. And obviously they are checked, meaning they're turned on for me. But if we go to my CS manager group or purchasing group, you can see they're not turned on. So some of you may see this stuff and others may not, depending on what user group you're in and whether or not things are turned on in the security editor. But that everything certainly lives in there. If you don't see it, um, it's likely just a matter of going in here and checking, yeah, I want to use that recent sales doc little window thing and keep it on my other monitor. Someone has to go in here and turn it on by checking it. And then the next time you log in, you'll see this option at the top here. If it's not there now, recent sales documents, that'll be in your search ribbon at the top going forward. So it's probably a combination of both. some stuff, the ability to, adjust your own grids and views there like I was doing and use some of those filters, that might be enabled for you already. But like the one example where I showed where let me just pull it up here. Customer search. One example that I showed where I clicked on this, and this, I said you can export something to Excel, print. These are actually individual sub levels of security. So you may click on this and this window pops up for you, but it could be that some of these things are grayed out, like export to Excel is grayed out or print is grayed out. And again, that is in the uh, security permissions here. So if we just use that one as an example, um, Excel sales documents is checked. So that means it's turned on for sales documents.
Awesome.
Sure.
Perfect. Thanks for showing us all of that. Very useful tips and tricks. Hope people took away a few things to make your lives a little bit easier on a daily basis, more efficient, quicker. So Michael, thank you very much for your time. And most importantly, thank you to all of you for joining us today for about an hour. We hope to see you all at future webinars. I definitely encourage you to visit our events page at www.cavallo.com/events-schedule. You'll be able to register for upcoming events, view recordings, all sorts of things from that page. And then, as always, if you'd like to explore your organization's specific needs further, have questions about what you heard today, just go ahead and contact your account manager, or feel free to send an email to marketing@cavallo.com and we will put you in touch with the correct person. Last, we will have a short survey when you exit today's webinar. We greatly appreciate your feedback. Thanks for joining us once again, and we hope you all have a great rest of the week and weekend.
Thank you all for your time. I appreciate
Thank
it.
you. Bye-bye.
Yep. Bye-bye.